Chris Sims. Final day of the work week. It's Friday for him. It's Thursday for everyone else. And I don't think there are any days off for our next guest. There is no weekend. Every weekend you'll see him doing something on NBC. He can do it all. You know, I'm reminded of the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none. This guy is jack of all trades, master of all.
He's kind of laissez-faire, I think. I think he's kind of laissez-faire. He doesn't really attack his job that toughly.
Yeah. He's Mike Tirico. He joins us now. What's up, Mike? Hello, Mike.
Well, you know, for those who can't hit the mute button, which is scary, for those of us like me and you, Florio, who work 5-day weeks, it's nice to be with you on a Thursday.
Very nicely done. Very nice.
So, Mike, there's a lot going on in the NFL. There's always something going on in the NFL. What was your thought yesterday when you saw that Mike McCarthy is out as the GM nearly 3 weeks after the draft?
Yeah, so I grew up a Jets fan. I grew up in Queens, going to games at Old Chase Stadium. And I've kind of grown out of my fandom at this point, I think, for professional reasons and for my sanity, too, as a Jets fan growing up. It's typical Jets. Now, I do think it is a good point that Chris just made on the radio side. The league year is over. So if you're going to make a change in the front office, this is the best time to, even though it feels like it should be something that happens at the end of the season. But if you think about the end of the season, that is the prime time for all your off-season moves, free agency, draft, scouts, etc. So it makes sense there. Look, if they say Adam Gase is all in and he's the guy and he's going to be the king sitting on top of the throne here, that is fine. And you want to go this way, that's okay. It's just interesting that this was not their first head coaching choice, and now a few months later, he's in charge of the whole deal.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so I wanted to switch gears a little bit and get off the Jets. Are we okay with that, guys? Are we allowed to get off? Because
no, you complained last hour we didn't have more time to talk about the Jets, and now you want to pivot away after one question. Go ahead.
Well, I was just because
you see what I have to deal with 4 days a week, Mike?
No, well, I'm interested in the fact that Mike got to talk to Baker Mayfield, a few weeks ago at the Kentucky Derby. I just want to know, the guy that's followed the NFL so much over the years and everything, have you ever seen a lightning rod type quarterback or anybody you can compare Baker Mayfield to what he's done in an organization? Anybody jump out to you?
Not right away. Not jump in and no back down. Don't be afraid of taking on challenges, making bold pronouncements, etc. But I kind of like it, and I think it fits Cleveland because it gets them out of the mode of same old Browns. So there are parts of it I really like. Also, I just put the pause button on a little bit with the Browns. There's so much excitement. I went through Cleveland, went through Columbus a couple of different times in the last 2 months. There's so much excitement about the Browns. And you take a look back, Baker Mayfield was 6-7 as a starting quarterback. So it's not as though they won 9-10 games. They did do very well down the stretch last year in some key spots. But we have to remember, new defensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens' first-time head coach. He wasn't even the offensive coordinator week 1 last year.
Right.
And now we fast-forward him in 4 months to head coach. And as we all know, there are mistakes you make the first time around the block doing a job. So there may be some bumps along the road here. I do like everything they've done, including bringing in Odell. If there's a place Odell is going to fit here, it's having Jarvis Landry. I think those two guys together could be a dynamic force of almost. It reminds me a little bit, guys, of what we see in the NBA, where super friends are uniting to take on the world. I do think you're going to get the best out of them because of the combination. The question does become, have they put themselves too far out there? Can they back off and just do it on the field? And early, they're going to be in a couple of spots, guys, they haven't been in a while. They have a Monday night game. They followed up with Sunday night against the Rams. So by week 3, we're going to know if they're ready for their close-up or not.
And, Mike, the bar is so high for a team that had won one game in 2 total years, 2016, 2017. I asked Chris this question last hour. Now I'm going to ask you, what does it take in your mind for the Browns to meet the expectations that we all seem to have for them? How far do they have to go to January or into January to get to the point where, they had a successful year?
All right, you're going to think I'm stupid. I think 9-7 and be in the mix for the wild card. Be not in the hunt. Be one of those teams in that middle panel of the 3 that we look at when we put up that graphic of the playoff chase the last few weeks. Be one of those teams that's either 6th or 7th and fighting to get in that last spot or a wild card spot. As a minimum, to say this has been a good season. do think this is a team that you're not ready to say this is championship level just yet. But first off, look at their division. I know there are the unknowns because the two Bs and Brown and Bell are gone from Pittsburgh. But do you think Pittsburgh's completely done? Not with Roethlisberger, not with I think the call to action that is permeating throughout the building in Pittsburgh. We know what Baltimore's done through the years. I know they have maybe as much attrition in the offseason as anyone, but we also know that the road to this division has gone through those two teams for a very, very long time. I'm not ready to say the road goes through Cleveland. So win 9 in a division where maybe 10 will get it done this year, then I think that's going to be a successful season for the Browns if they keep building because they've got a lot of young talent.
Mike, you got great perspective on the league. I know you know people. You got great knowledge. Like, what's the Mike Tirico broad picture thing that you're looking at for the 2019 NFL season that kind of just jumps out to you? What is it? Anything, interesting, team, player? Well, what is something that's kind of been tickling your fancy lately?
We're going to move. We'll move just past the given of, look, the Patriots have this significant roster change in some key spots, but they're going to be fine.
Yes.
At some point they won't be, but we're like, okay, fine. We all know that. Well, they'll be 2-2. We'll be on football night. The question week 4, guys, what's wrong with the Patriots? Should we panic? No, they'll be fine. I'm really, truly interested in two teams, one on each side. Kansas City. Obviously Kareem Hunt not there. If Tyreek Hill's not there this year, which every indication is that that's going in that direction, what's the true impact on that offense? Those two guys made a significant difference. They weren't the same after Hunt was out of the mix. And obviously Hill, just think about the fourth down plays that were made during the year. Think of their most dynamic plays that flip the field. There aren't a lot of guys you can go get who can do that. So whether it was through the draft or with other players, they have that element still in their offense. And then the other one to me is the Rams. I thought the Rams were just on this upward trajectory here for the last couple of years. And they got to the Super Bowl, and they ran into what they saw a little bit, guys, if you think about it, in a couple of games they played late in the season, starting with a game they won, the game at Detroit. The Rams offense started to struggle a little bit. So there's a little bit of a book on them. And I don't think it's McVay. I think it's going to come down to Jared Goff. I saw Jared earlier in this offseason. He knows it. He knows he's got to take another step up. And to me, that's going to be one of the fascinating things because the Rams had the feel of a championship-level team last year. Now with some changes in free agency, hitting this bump in the road a little bit from an XO standpoint with Goff, can he take that next growth step that is natural for a quarterback at this point?
Yep. Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.